Hi there and welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about the new moon in Scorpio that's coming up on November 20th, so pretty soon. Really exciting. I feel like there's a lot of beautiful energy building up from what we had before, the full moon in Taurus, where we were grounding ourselves and really keeping ourselves, in those interests of earth and nature and kind of really going deep. And now we're heading into, we were actually been in Scorpio season for quite some time, but we're heading into this new moon in Scorpio that's kind of sort of out of the Scorpio season, right? We're heading into the next sign. But the new moon in Scorpio, so Scorpio, if we just start there, it has a lot of energy in terms of passion. It has a lot of depth. It has a lot of hidden things, secrets, emotions, things that we don't want other people to see, things that maybe we haven't processed. So kind of expect that you might go into a lot of emotional things this coming week, and in order for you to clear that baggage. And then the 20th comes around and it's the new moon, and the new moon is a perfect time to set a new intention. So what kind of intention should you set? Let's look at what's going on in the rest of the astrology on the 20th for the new moon. So we have a beautiful sextile between the planet Uranus and the planet Neptune. And if we look into what they kind of mean, on an overarching level, so we have Neptune, which is traditionally the god of the sea. And we think about things like water, illusion, dreams, that malleability, that fluidity, and how we can start to think about what kind of dreams we have. What is it that we want to achieve? And then we have that beautiful sextile with Uranus, which is the god of the sky, traditionally speaking, which is fast moving energy. It's energy that's really zipping and zapping, and it's upheaval. It's things that we don't really expect. It could be like on the weather front, if we combine these two, it could be like tornadoes and very windy, very kind of rainy conditions, right? The water and the air. And when you put those two together, it starts to create almost like two separate timelines, if you wish. One timeline you can imagine is kind of that, dreamy, technology and Neptune, right? So technology going viral, right? And moving forward into AI, augmented reality, those 3D vision glasses that you can use, all those things, and that kind of timeline of going more synthetic, right? More technology, moving further and further away from ourselves, our own biology, our own technology, and into kind of that timeline. The other timeline that I see for those two beautiful elements being combined is a timeline where we really truly start to know our own consciousness, right? So Neptune being that dreamy illusion, but also consciousness tied to Pisces, right? And Pisces really starts to become this kind of almost like Christ consciousness, the higher self that we talk about all the time. So if we look at that, and then we have another timeline where we think about how can we get to know our own technology? How can that go viral, right? So if you think about, all the things, for example, if you haven't watched the telepathy tapes by now, I would highly recommend that you do so, because they speak about how all these people who are non-speakers are able to telepathically communicate with each other, no problem. Like they do it all the time. So activating our consciousness, activating the technology that we have within our body. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've already started noticing things. You've already noticed that maybe you're more in tune with things. Maybe you're starting to feel these energies in your body. Like a lot of people are reporting, this sort of Kundalini energy where it comes from the root and go up, this kind of sensation in their body. Or maybe you start to see things with your third eye. You start to perceive things very, very differently. So I feel like all those things can happen in this other aspect, this other timeline, shall we call it, this other perspective of life, where you go inwards, more deep, 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 versus going outwards, creating more and more sort of separation, more and more technology between ourselves and the source creator. Okay. So that's a beautiful thing. Then if we also look at kind of the larger picture, which I really love to do, we see that in the planets, this year has been a lot of moving out and moving forward. So like moving back into the previous sign, moving forward into the new sign for a couple months for many of our outer planets. What that means is we get this kind of energy where we can go back and figure out, did I really do this right? Or do I need to go one more round? How do I absolutely feel about this situation? Can I figure out a new way of doing it? And so there's this back and forward energy where we get time to integrate, where we get time to rehearse, where we get time to just be. If we move forward and look into 2026, we're going to see that the energies, so by the time of like end of February and then end of April, all of the planets are now moving forward, which means that if you feel like energy is moving fast now, next year is going to be a lot faster. It's going to be a forward kind of energy. So right in this moment, I feel like we're in this beautiful space where we get to be, and I'm sure you probably heard this before, it's like we're the larvae first, then we move into being in the cocoon, where we're kind of mush, and then we turn into the butterfly. That's the metamorphosis that humanity is going through right now. So imagine yourself being in the cocoon right now. And if you're in the northern hemisphere like I am, it's very easy to imagine yourself in the cocoon right now, because outside it's rainy, it's windy, it's cold, it's gray, right? So kind of wrapping yourself up into a blanket is like, yes, I want to do that. So think about yourself as being in that mush state now. And what does that mean? What that means is this is your time on the 20th of this month for, the new moon, to set a new intention, to use that formless state. Because remember, if we look at physics, when everything is in chaos, like if we like heat up water and it's moving around, like it becomes eventually a cloud, but it's all this gas, then there's potential for that to become something completely new. When something is in a kind of more solidified state, it stays like that. But when something is excited and exalted and moving around and we feel it as chaos, like what's going on, what's happening, then there's the potential for it to be created into something completely new. So you're now in the state where you can turn inwards, use this time to meditate, use this time to rest. Like rest is such an important thing that we put last on our list. We should put it first. It should be like rest first, then go and do in the state that you want to be in, then go and do activities. Because when we do activities where we're running low on energy and we're kind of tired and our energy is all not coherent, we have to work so much harder than if we have a coherent energy, we know what we want to do, we know where we're going. Okay, got a little on a limb there, so let's backtrack. So in this mush state energy, you get to spend time with the 0 point field. And the 0 point field is what mystic refers to as the divine, the no space, no time. Quantum physicists refer to it as like, it's almost like black matter, right? Or that space where things are communicating and we are nothing. So it's in a space where you're nobody, in no time, in no space. And I know this can be hard to perceive, but sometimes when you go into meditation and you feel yourself kind of disappearing, and then you come back and you're like, wait a minute, like it was all black for a while. Like I didn't fall asleep, but I was gone. That's when you're going into that space. You're going into that space of pure potentiality. And I would suggest that try to spend as much time as you can there without wanting to be there, because if we have this desire, then we can't get there. But just sit there and allow it to happen. In this time of being the mush, where you're feeling formless, it's going to feel very confusing. All these things, they sound amazing. When we listen to them, when we hear them, when we read them in books, we're like, wow, that sounds really cool to be in the mush state. When you're in it, it can start to feel like, but I don't have any direction. I don't know where I'm going, but I have this dream. I have this beautiful dream that I want to put into fruition. Tend to that dream for you and for humanity. Sit with it, develop it, visualize it, write about it. You know, you can journal about it, do little mood boards about it, and really tend to it now. Because between now, November, December, you have the chance to really kind of form that dream, right? Use Neptune's and Uranus energy, the dream state, the kind of moving fluid state, that mush state, to be in the womb and create in the womb, inside. And then when we hit 2026 in January, you can take off running because you've created something on the inside that now can be expressed on the outside. So think about where you want to be next year. Where you are right now might not be where you want to be, or maybe it is, but you see an even better future. And think about how you can fully embody that in your mush state, in that kind of no space, no time state, and see if you can allow yourself to be in this womb for quite some time to create a beautiful new world for you and for other people. So starting the 20th of November with the new moon in Scorpio, set your new intention and allow that to be. Allow that to be your baby. Allow yourself time and space to grow that baby inside your womb. And then we're going to come out running and being really excited in the beginning of January. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you're having a great day. Namaste.